Díomh a chuir de chunastáisih Tásúla am gúil sibh go maith. So today I've decided to do a webinar on your Irish language component for your primary school interview. Maybe this might help with people doing interviews for secondary school as well, maybe to just get a couple of ideas. Gur míle maithagibh as teacht, okay, agus tá mé anasásta gohfuil sibh ansá inneo. Okay, so I'm going to make this video available for 30 days so you can come in and watch it whenever you want. And I suppose this is kind of the interview season anyway. So Ganairi an tálamh leis an aglah, and I hope some of this can be helpful for you. Maybe some new frásí nua, frásí úsáideacha, and maybe new words stórfachal nua, and just smuintí nua beidir maidir le ceistena. Okay, so beg mé a chaint I méle agus in Gaeilge inneo, so beg mascán den dárod, so a bit of a mix of the two. And yeah, so thanks for coming, gur míle maithagibh, and yeah, let's get on with it. So okay, so tá mé chun mascáil an a roiint inis. So just dús, is mé se Orla, and I'm from OQ Education. So I started my online business 2 years ago now, just during the pandemic, of course. And bhí mé I Canada ag múna an sin in Old School Toronto. Agus tháinig mé arás, and then I came back and I just started this because I was kind of helping a girl over in Canada, and then it got online, and then I just really enjoyed it. So that's just a couple of things about that. So if you need any help with mock interviews or anything like that, you can definitely get in touch with me. I can help you with that before September. And then I will be back again in January if anyone needs any help. Maybe you're on placement, maybe you're doing an interview, whatever you might be doing, just general, if you want to improve your Irish. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at OQ Education, and yeah, it'd be great if you give me a follow, or like if you could send my page to someone else maybe, if they need a hand. Okay, so yeah, so sin an scéal, okay, agus bugad muid rá. So an plan le hainneomh ná cúpla rud, okay, so be muid díú will be concentrating on questions that could come up in the interview, ceistena a déiteach teacht chun cín san aglah. A couple of strategies just to tackle chun dul in lec leis na ceistena. Okay, so mar hampla muna digan tú ceist mar hampla nó rud a chin mar sin, or beidir just go bhfuil tú a géirí rud é gonna rá, maybe we just want to agree with them or something like that, you know, just to kind of maybe lack of information on something as well. We can have a look at that. And just, I'm going to give you just some general tips at the end for interviews as Ghaeilge. Okay, so we'll just talk about answering with the verb, and actually at the start, be mé kind of hús an aglah. So at the start, we'll be talking about the start of the interview, you know, because sometimes when you go and you're like, what do I say? So just be mé kind of piece of mar sin. And then just at the end, I have some just useful phrases maybe for your interview. Yeah, so I'll just show you them at the end, and there's English and Irish. So and you can just like pause at any time you want and maybe take a screenshot, whatever you want to do. Okay, and with these questions, I have around 20 questions, and tá long question and mar an géine. Okay, so they might ask you a question and, you know, it might throw you a bit, but a lot of the questions are quite similar, and they all nearly, like a lot of them want the same answer, you know, kind of what would you do in the classroom, okay, to encourage your students, okay, or to encourage the kids in the classroom. So that's kind of, a lot of them, like that question comes up kind of a lot in different types of questions, okay? So it's just to be ready for that and to be kind of, I suppose, at ease with, you know, with whatever questions come your way. So tásúla am go mbeidh mé an cabhrú libh leis sin, you know, and that should be a bit more at your ease with the questions. I know go sé anna dachar ar fad, ach beidh sé cheart leir tócha. Okay. So bugamidrai. So two smart leis an aglah dús. Okay. So just be kinta when if you go in and you say diagwit straight away, tá sé sin carclór, the answer will be dia smaragwit. So if they say diagwit straight away, you can say dia smaragwit. Okay. Or yeah, so whichever way it goes. When you head into the interview, I was kind of thinking of the context of online interviews there, but I'm sure these will all be in person now. Okay, so tá sé sin gohíntaach. So conas tá tú, okay, or cajé mar atá tú, or conas tá chuirsaí leat, or conas tí, or céiciúil tú. Okay, so tá go leor bailí chun an rud céine ará. So just be like, oh, I'm good, thanks, and yourself, you know. So tá mé go má, gur maith agat, agus tú féin, and probably beg níos mó daoine ann, so probably agus sibh féin and yourselves. Okay, so dia gwit, dias mar gwit, chun stá tú, tá mé go má gur má agat agus sibh féin, you know, tá mé go bra gur míle maith agat. Okay, or gur míle maith a gcuibh. Okay, so you know, tá sé go deas just tú smart a bheith agat leis an aglah cinnte. In éan tá muidir gcónaí chaint faoin aimsir. Okay, so you know, like, oh, just má tá tú géir rud a cína rá, like, no tá aimsir go hála nachhfuil tá cinnte, yeah, cinnte for sure, you know, or tá aimsir go hulk nachhfuil, isn't it, you know, nachhfuil. Okay, so just cúpla led le haid tú san aglah an sin. Okay, so bugamidrai agus tá go leor ceistíonn seo, so chaithim me Gold Streets go hána scioppaí ar riara mar tá glóirí gceist. Okay, so lenamidirai leis na cín seo. Okay, so tá fiche ceiste go man sa agus yeah, so tá glóirí gceist cúpla ceann atá like mar an ggéine. Yeah, so just branomid arthú. Okay, agus again, má tá aon ceiste géin duine is féidir live a rifos de cheola thugam ag an deireadh. Actually, just curthaigh mé má sunraí rifos an sa, má tá sé figurí teagháil dhéanaí lum. Okay, at gmail.com. Okay, a new Instagram is cuma. Okay, so tá na sunraí agat an sin. Okay, so is just féchar sin le second nu scríb amach é or le chun an education at gmail.com. Okay, come on. So, okay, on Kate Ken. So, I had an interview a couple of years ago, and like sometimes we know with these interviews they might not even ask you a question, but I think tá sé tábhachtach a bheith ulmhathe, you know, le haid cuilead. So they just kind of asked me, oh, tell me about yourself. So I suppose with that you can go into anything really, can't you? So just so mar hampla, is mis orla is ascail chuinnig mé ach tá mé mo choní I maileach líomh faoi láthair. And beidir just smínig ar an taithí atá agat an taithí múntóireachta atá agat. So mar hampla, well, bhain mé céim amach sa Ghaeilge agus I 2014 agus an sin nuair críocnig mé mo chéim. Bhí mé gobar iscoil I maileach lia le haid ceithre bliana. Agus an sin aní sin bhog mé go Canada agus bhí mé ag múna na Ghaeilge an. Tháinig mé arás 2 bhliain ó shin agus thosaigh mé gobar in DCU. Agus bhí mé ag múna na Ghaeilge ann ag cabhrú leis na mic-léinn maidir leis an ramadach. So yeah, tell me what you've been doing, you know, maybe you're just out of college, so beidir leabhar faoi sin. Agus cumála sin ag an deir maybe just faoi cabhaimsir atá agat beidir. So mar hampla, is bralam a bheith ag cócaracht, is bralam a bheith ag bácáil chomá. Nuair bhí nám sé ar agam téim godí an tonna daclíochta mar hampla. Okay, so just rudí anna siimplí and then beidir go gurthaigh siad ceist eile ort maidir lei sin. Okay, so sin just ina stomp féin, so just be réad an ceist sin. Okay, yeah. Ifar dó ina stomp faoin taithí múntóireachta atá agat iscoileanna eile, just tá cúpla rud scríofa go mansá ó bheith caint le daoine eile. So an taithí múntóireachta, so I kind of went into that in the tell me about yourself part. Okay, so maybe just make sure you know all about like where you were on your placements, you know, throughout the years. So mar hapla, let's just say go raibh tú ag obair is scoil le haid bliana, okay, ar feadh bliana. Okay, so bhí mé ag obair, well, bhí mé ag obair is scoil bhríde ar feadh bliana. Okay, so for a year, okay. Bhí mé ag obair le rang a chathair mar hapla. Okay, so just say what year you were working with, what class you were working with. Beidir céir díd na dulga sa bhí agat, what were your duties? Okay, the duties. So maybe you were in charge of something. So bhí mé I gceannas air. Okay, so bhí mé gceannas ar rang a chathair mar hapla, or bhí mé ag cabhrú le helping. Ag cabhrú le páistí or le páiste amháin beidir I rang a chathair le mata agus béarla. Okay, so cad a bhí tú ag déanamh, okay, inis dom faoin sin. Always bring in your experience and what you were doing. Okay, just cúpla focail nua beidir an salt múntóir achmhaine, resource teacher. Okay, another girl I was chatting to, she was saying bhí she ar an banéil onadíochta on the substitute panel. Okay, so beidir go bhfuil folklór nua agus cúpla focail nua ag tastáil má tá tú gurí leir faoi seo. Okay, you could say like I am working with children with special needs at the moment. Okay, so tá mé go brille páistí le riachtanis speisialta faoi láthair, or bhí mé ag obair an tabhairg le beirt bhuacalaí. Okay, no, just make sure go bhfuil tú a caint faoin taithí atá agat. Okay, is scolanna eile agus beidir ibre an tabhairg. Okay. You could also say when you got your degree. Okay, so when mé mo céim amach, okay, I gá mhíle is fithe. Okay, so to say you got your degree when mé mo chéim amach. Okay, so that's how you say I got my degree. After the degree, tar éis na céime. So what did you do after the degree? So beidir bhí mé go obair mar múntóir iticus speisialta, so I was working as a special education teacher. Okay, so anyway, it depends on, everyone's different. Okay, tá gach duine diffriúil. So just say where you were, what you were doing, what you were in charge of, what were your duties. Okay, and then maybe they'll ask you questions from that. Okay, so bugamid right. So conas is féidir leat na scoláirí a sppraga chun an Ghaeilge a labhairt. Okay, so how can you encourage students to speak Irish? Well, just cúpla kind of cúpla focail beidir atá tábhachtach an seo. Communicative approach, cur chuig a cumarsáide. Okay, so you could say I use this buinam úsáid as an gur chuige cumarsáide nuair atá mé ag múna na Ghaeilge. Okay, also like I use, okay, buinam úsáid as or úsáidim. So úsáidim Ghaeilge nabhar múl. Okay, it's kind of a buzzword now. Okay, it's kind of, so it's probably important to kind of say that in the interview. So I use informal Irish in the classroom, so show maranga. So like mar hapla beidir, you know, nuair a hagann siad isteach. So always give examples, you know, or talk about your experience. Okay, so mar hapla nuair a hagann siad isteach sa show maranga gach maidin tá sé tábhachtach dí a gcuite rá, you know, conas atá sibh aon scéal rudí simplí mar sin de. Okay, so rudí simplí conas tá aimsir, tá aimsir go donna nach bhfuil. So tá sé tábhachtach labhairt faoi you know, rudí ábhartha, as topicí ábhartha, relevant topics, okay, realistic topics gach lá. Okay, students should be bacóir go mbeadh na páiste ag labhairt na teanga sa seo maranga, agus bacóir go mbeadh should, the topics should be relevant and realistic. Bacóir go mbeadh na topicí ábhartha agus réalaíoch. Okay. So sin an céad rud, okay, the communicative approach, informal Irish, and I suppose that would encourage them. Also, caithfidh an teanga bheith spríúil. Okay. So it has to be fun, doesn't it? So caithfidh an teanga a bheith spríúil. I would use dúsáidtin, cluichí, sa seo maranga mar hapla cluiche Kim nó 0 grádig nó aon rud mar sin de. So cai gan teanga bheith spríú dúsáid hin, so I would use, okay, dúsáid hin, that F, okay, there is a H sound in the mócnílach, okay. So dúsáid hin cluiche sa seo maranga mar hapla cluiche Kim, okay. Or you could talk about maybe what you used, you know, in the past, nuair bhí tú sucrúcán scoile, so on placement, yeah. On placement. Sucrúcán scoile. So you could say like, nuair a bhí mé sucrúcán scoile, rinne mé an cluiche XYZ, or dúsáid mé beidir, yeah, tá sé sin níos fearr. Dúsáid mé an cluiche 0 grádig agus bhain na páistí anasoltas, or hatan an cluiche sin go mór leo, okay. Bhain na páistí anasoltas, or hatan X nó Y leis na páistí. Okay. Go bra. Okay. Comáile sin, I suppose, chun na páistí is sprága na léitheanta seo tá sé tábhachtach an technoliacht, tábhachtach an technoliacht úsáid sa seo maranga. So like fiú coolla mé go bhfuil buan na chainte in úsáid ag go leor múntóirí, nó béidir go bhfuil cahúis úsáideach le haid cluiche líne, okay, as Ghaeilge. So so tá sé tábhachtach an technoliacht úsáid, cluichí úsáid cad eile béidir áráin, you know, scéalta, drama as Ghaeilge, rounta, rhymes, drama, stories, songs, you know, aon rud mar sin de. Okay, so how to encourage your students. So I think about 3 things maybe, you know, that's what I always say. Every question, think about 3 things I'm going to talk about right now. So iwwer hain tá mé chun leir twin gur chuig conversáide agus an Ghaeilge nabharmúil agus tá mé chun sampla a thuirt. Iwwer a dó tá cluichí anna tábhachtach sa seo maranga mar caiigh an rang a bheith spríúil. Tá sé tábhachtach technoliaachta úsáid sa seo maranga agus tuair sampla. Agus tá go leor like freagraí eile gur féidir leat a thuirt an seo. You could give a lot of different answers here. That's just a couple of things, okay? Yeah, so bugamid ará is tóca, just cai mé rud é gana cheicáil an sin. Just for you to check all rud é gan mother leis an litrú. No, Tom Kertagum. So yeah, so like if you're also just in general learning Irish, you know, I always have my Tianglam Punkai E Oscailt an seo, because you know you just have to check spelling sometimes, obviously, like when you're in the class as well, you know, have that app on the phone ready to go, okay, because úsáids buinem úsáids as gacile lá, okay. Mar orintanta just denna tú dearmid fochail ochalaigh an nuair literaig agus tá sé sin go thomláin nádúrtha, okay. So bugamid ará mar sin tásúla am gur cúpla smaoineh a got an sin, so yeah, bugamid ará. A lot of these are kind of linked, these questions you can use all together, as I said, okay, and mix and match, okay. So just cean ginearáltan sa céirdí na bailí is fearr chun ar deanga a eolam, or chuna sa chuireann tú feabhas ar do chuid Ghaeilge. Okay, so what are the best ways to learn our language? Okay, or how do you improve your Irish? Okay, so they're kind of like tá siad mar an ggéin an sa. So what do you do? So is féidir leat an aimsir láthreach a úsáid an seo béidir? Nu tá bailach eile comá gur féidir linn úsáid. So you could say, so luigh muid na rudí seo hana féin sa sleamh an deireanach, ach seans go mbeidh siad an úsáid sa cheist seo chomá. So you could say like féacham, air, whatever, okay, éistem, le, Okay. So mar hempla féach mar TG cahar, gomininic, bí meg féchant an glór telefíe, whichever you like Ross narún mar hempla, bí meg féchant an glór telefíe, Ross narún telefíe, Ross narún. Gomininic, okay, or bí meg féchant na cluichí imóíochta agus na cluichí pelle TG cahar gomininic. Okay, so I do be, so something you do on a regular basis. Okay, éistem le. So maybe you listen to a podcast. Éistem le podscréile. Mar hempla podscréile na Ghaeilge, tá cúpla ceann eile na seanáilethe sin anamatá fodcréile eile. Ghaeilge. Okay, so tá cúpla ceann an sin. Tá sé tábhachtach. Okay, so let's maybe put it in a different way. Tá sé tábhachtach a bheith ag labhairt as Ghaeilge, agus labhraíonn le má say cóghlacathe, my colleagues, okay, or labhraíonn le má chairde as Ghaeilge gomininic, okay, or maybe I attend freastalíonn curca chóra beidir or freastalíonn rang na Ghaeilge lína, okay, rud é go mar sin. Cad eile úsáidem golóir áisina lína. Okay, so like mar hempla teangla.ie, folklore.ie. So má tá mé an áras faoi focail éigen if I'm in doubt or something, téimar teangla.ie, chum an focail isteach, agus fála míam, I learn, yeah. Fála míon golóir focail nua gach lá. Okay. You could say tá sé tábhachtach a bheith ag éisteach leis an radio chomá. Okay. Cad eile. Ní féidir am smína bhéiríonn rud eile ach sin golóir rudaí an sin. Okay, féacha mar nuacht. Tá golóir físeán YouTube inis. Tá glór daoine Instagram a labhraíonn as Ghaeilge inis agus leanam na daoine sin I follow them. Leanam na daoine sin Instagram agus tá sé anna cabhrach mar chuann siad golóir stór focail na postálacha an post agus na scéalta agus ruí mar sin de. Okay, so if they ask you what are the ways we can improve our language, how do you improve just bring it back to you. What do you do? Well, in mohorim féin seo na rudaí a dhéanam hain, so féacha méir éistem le fála míam freastalíonn agus cabhraíonn sé go mórlumm, it helps me. Cabhraíonn sé go mórlumm muiscilena muiscilena labhraithe b'éidir, muiscilena éisteachta, just muiscilena go léir. Cabhraíonn sé le muiscilena go léir muiscilena go léir a dheasú. Okay. Yeah. Tá go leor an sin gur féidir leat a úsáid. Okay. So bug me dry orintanta tá cúpla rud scríofa a gom faoine lein an orintanta níl, but just be me ag scríomh. Okay. So cad ceapan tú faoin PLC, so an curriculum teanga bunscoile, curriculum teanga bunscoile. Okay, so níl mór an ólas gom faoi seo. Okay, so níl sam tháinig sé isteach nó cad éon scéal leis, nó sé tosathe go fóil. So maybe ask a colleague that knows about it, about the primary language curriculum, on curriculum nua atá teachtas teach. I think the main thing if they ask you about this in an interview is to acknowledge that I know about this and not, don't say, oh, I haven't a clue, níl clue agam cad atá tú caint faoi. Just to even say, níl golóir taithí agam. Na go leor taithí gom leis an ggurclam nua ach bhí mé ag caint le mo có-oibrithe faoi agus tá béim air. There's an emphasis on. Now, like le me cúpla rud faoi tá béim air cheanga ó bhéal anyway. Okay. So there's an emphasis on basically speaking the language. So tá cúpla rud eile an sin nu mé go thomlan cinnte ar rira agus níarna mé mór an taide air. Marólas ní múntóir bunscoile mé, is múntóir meanscoile mé agus is múntóir agus teagas scoil scoile mé freisin. But I know that there's tá ceangal idir an béarla agus an Ghaeilge leis an ggurclam nua seo. Tá ceangal, so there's a link, isn't there? Tá ceangal idir an Ghaeilge agus an béarla sa churchlam seo. Okay, so maybe you could give an example of this in action. Okay, maybe what a lesson from the curriculum nua looks like. Okay, but I think just acknowledging that you know that it's there and that it's happening and you've talked about it and you know that there's an emphasis on X, Y, and Z, I think go meg tú go bra mar sin. Okay, but go midrai. So, déan chuir síos ar ceacht éifeachtach trí bhean na Gaeilge. Okay, so describe an effective lesson through the medium of Irish. So I feel like you just need to maybe think about here your planning a ceachta, you know, your lesson plans and what the layout of kind of a general lesson would be as Gaeilge. So maybe refer to, you know, the 3 stages of the lesson, you know, the tréimhse réamh chumarsáide, tréimhse chumarsáide, agus tréimhse ar chumarsáide. And maybe just think about a lesson you've done in the past, maybe about like Cahavimshire or something, and just say cad a rinne tú cad a rinne tú I dréimhse hain, cad a rinne tú I dréimhse dó, agus cad a rinne tú I dréimhse trí. Okay. Agus beg to a caint faoin ceacht sin a rinne tú agus céan fá go raibh sé éifeachtach I do thuairim féin. So how was this lesson effective? So just bring them through the stages. So just think in your head, right, what should I do for the tréimhse réamh chumarsáide, tréimhse chumarsáide agus tréimhse ar chumarsáide. Okay, and just make sure you put an emphasis on that I use the communicative approach, or like bhí mé caint as Ghaeilge, you know, sarang an taimar fad, so sin an rud is tábhachtaí. Bhí an rang spríúil, okay, céim fá mar rinnemuid cluiche ag an deire mar hapla. So go through the stages and be like, you know, bhí an rang spríúil agus hatan an rang leis na páistí. Cad a dúirt mé an seo. So I just said úsáid an Ghaeilge a chur chuige chumarsáide, spríúil cluiche bingo, just sampla eile. Agus tá sé tábhachtach tús ma a bheith agat sa rang. Okay, so you know the way in your Irish classes you kind of give them a stimulant or something like a spraga and tanamatá air. So like mar hapla tashbon into picture, new green graph, mar hapla Serena Williams ag imrit le dóig a nu rud éigean. So it kind of gives them a kind of encouragement with the class, or your stimulant for the class, okay, and introduces the topic. So maybe make sure to talk about that. Okay, so we'll say, well, and just making sure that they know that you know that about the 3 stages, you know. So well, tá trí fréimhse in nach ran Gaeilge. Okay, so smuoine gur na plan na ceachta dús chum tús leis an gach leis an dréimhse leis an tréimhse réamh chumarsáide mar hapla. Example then, okay, mar hapla rinne mé XYZ I mar rang an bliain se chatte agus dairig go maith linn, you know, we got on well with it, rinne muid X, Y, and Z. So tréimhse chumarsáide, you know, we can change between present tense or past tense here. So rinne na páistí tascana, like maybe you're talking about something you did, or you could just say, you know, what did they do? Okay, so déanann na páistí tascana sa leabhar, agus deanam cinnte ghfuil, you know, idir gealú ar siúil sa rang don task seo, focail nua beidir an sa differentiation. Okay, so just, you know, just tell me what you do, how you do it. Okay. So tréimh sé ar cumarsáide déanam cinnte freis a ghfuil na gníomhaíochtaí, the activities. So ghfuil na gníomhaíochtaí spríúil ó thuascadéire. So caithfidh an rang a bheith spríúil, sin an rud is tábhachtaí go bhfuil gach duine, you know, ag caint lena chéile as Ghaeilge, and that we follow the structure kind of the class, you know, the 3 stages. Okay, so you kind of have to put your own spin on that yourself. Talk about what you do or what you did. Just make sure the tenses are correct in there. Okay. Cén cuí féidir sin bhar seach an bhfuil? Oh yeah. Cén cuí an rud chéine le conas, okay, féidir leat grád an teanga a sppraga sa seomar ranga. Okay. So I said sleán a chathair here. So how can you encourage the love of the language in the classroom? So let's go to sleán a chathair and see. That's not the one. Maybe Ceist Ghaeilge bhí mé chaint faoi. Yeah, I'll put Ceist there. Okay. Okay, so Ceist Ghaeilge. So how can you encourage the love of the language in the classroom? Okay, so tá sé tábhachtach again. Tá sé tábhachtach an Ghaeilge leirt, bheith leirt as Ghaeilge. Tá sé tábhachtach árán cluichí agus cluichí a úsáid. Okay, so tá sé tábhachtach X, Y, and Z a úsáid. Okay, so just correct me sin an seo. Tá sé tábhachtach X, Y, Z a úsáid. Okay, so, or bring it back onto you. So what do you do to help with this? You know, so buine úsáid as Ghaeilge never múl sa seomar ranga agus cairríonn sé sin go mór leis na páistí. Tá sé tábhachtach cluichí a úsáid sa seomar ranga mar hampla cluiche Kim de ógrádig. Chomáile sin an technolíocht tá sé sin fear hábhachtach cairríonn sé sin le sppraga na báistí sa seomar ranga. So again, that was kind of, did I have that somewhere else too? Yeah, so I think on count seo is the kind of very similar, isn't it? Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so 3 sleán ceist a 3 and 4 covers that one too. Okay, so tá sé sin carclóir. An gapan tú go bhfuil an Ghaeilge ag fáil bháis. Do you think the Irish language is dying? Okay. Please don't say, I think it's dying. I just don't think it comes across very well in the interview. And it's not. So like when you're not in the kind of the bubble of Irish, like my life is through, you know, Irish most days. So when you're not in that, when you're outside that, a lot of the time you don't, we often don't have awareness, you know, that like people are speaking Irish and things like that because we're not involved in it. And I suppose the best way to kind of change your perspective, change your perspective on this is to get involved, you know, and maybe attend a pop-up Gaeltacht and things like that. There's lots of things going on. So if you find yourself saying, I think Irish is dying, you're probably just not really aware of what's going on. Okay, in Isil na Ghaeilge. Okay, so I think it's always important to be positive about an Ghaeilge, mar tá go leor rudí darfacha ar siúl, timpeall na tíre, maidir leis. Okay, so níl an Ghaeilge ag fáil bháis. And you know, bring it back onto yourself again, you know, like cad a dhéanann tusa, you know, a ríis. So bí me caint le chord as Ghaeilge, bíam ag féachant ar tíise chathair, etc. etc. Níl an Ghaeilge ag fáil bháis chomh mar like tá an éileamh. There's a big demand, like, you know, for Gael schools timpeall na tíre. So tá an éileamh, big demand ar Gael school ina timpeall na tíre. Okay, timpeall na tíre. Timpeall na tíre. Tá go leor imeachtaí ar siúl chomh, you know, tá go leor circle chórá. Tá go leor imeachtaí mar shampla an pop-up Gaeltacht. Okay, so is féidir leat dul go dtí an pop-up Gaeltacht an Gaeilge labhairt mar shampla. And you can find out about a lot of these events on peg.ie, okay, if you register for that site. And you'll see beg tá na postana go léir ar fáil ar an siomh seo. Okay. Yeah, there's always people looking for Irish teachers, etc. You know, is teanga ifigúil í an Gaeilge inis, you know, teanga ifigúil, official language, teanga ifigúil í san Aontas Eorpach in the European Union. Okay. San Aontas Eorpach. So tá go leor daoine inis ag obair mar astrathóirí as translators. Okay. Astrathóirí agus profléthirí agus tá siad ag obair you know, sa bheilg agus tá glór postan an sin. Okay, so tá an éileamh ar an Gaeilge inis. Agus yeah, so níl sé ag fábhá a churbe. Tá go leor imeachtaí ar siúl, tá go leor postanna ar fáil. Yeah, so tá go leor feachtais ar siúl freisin, like campaigns as well. So focail nua béidir campaign an sin. Okay. Go leor rudí eile an sin seans nach like tá glór eile ach just rinne méid armid faoi cúpla rud. Okay. Inis. Céir iad na dúshláin. Okay, so not dúshláin. Okay, so whenever you see an SH, ignore the S. Okay, together. So whenever you see an SH, ignore the S. Dúshláin. Céir iad na dúshláin is tú ag múna na Gaeilge. Okay, so what are the challenges and teaching Irish? Okay, didn't really give this one much of a thought now. So what are the challenges and teaching Irish? Well, yeah, I suppose tá sé dechar uaireanta, ní an tamar fad na páistí a sppraga. Chun an Gaeilge a labhairt. So it's difficult to maybe encourage them sometimes. Okay, béidir go bhfuil, you know, maybe they have a negative attitude towards it, you know, béidir go bhfuil dearca dúilteach acu I le na teanga. Leisceil I le na teanga. Okay, so then just talk about what would you do to encourage the students. So again, ceist trí agus a chathair an sin. Tá sé tábhachtach XYZ a úsáid. Okay, buinam úsáid as XYZ chun na páistí a sppraga. So again, it's literally the same question again, just worded in a different way. Okay. Iverda. These are not really in order. You know, this is something maybe that might come up at the start, not, but it's just the way I had the questions laid out. So Iverda amal sima got sa Gaeilge, an raibh spéise got sa Gaeilge an RV2 ar scoil. Okay. Ceist anna simplí ach, you know, caig tú bheith ré hiag ceist mar seo chomá. Okay, so tá spéise gom sa Gaeilge, or, you know, maybe you didn't nervy tú sa scoil. Okay, so tá spéise gom sa Gaeilge. Ach, béidir níor hatan an Gaeilge lom nervy mar scoil. That structure, hatan something lom, near hatan something lom, past tense. Yeah. Near hatan an Gaeilge lom. Spéise gom sa Gaeilge, near hatan an Gaeilge lom nervy me sa bhean scoil. Ceap mé go raibh an filiocht an a dúshlánach béidir, or ceap mé go raibh an gramadach an a dúshlánach. Okay, dúshlánach, no sound on S. Okay. Ach, inis, bring it to now, yeah. Is bralam an Gaeilge, bí mé géisteach leis an radio, féach mar an telefís. Okay, it's not like all of these questions are going to come up in one interview, like it might be just one, it might be two. You know, so a lot of these questions are linked, so just use the same answer. Recycle, recycle, okay? Chai tú achorsála dhéana ar na ceistena seo. Okay, inis is bralam an Gaeilge, freastalí am air, fála mí an glór stórfochail nua gach lá, éistem le, féacham air. Okay, so úsáid an aimsir láthreach a ríist an sin. Okay. An bhfuil tú muíneach an Ghaeilge a bhúna sa seomáranga? Okay, so are you confident teaching Irish in the classroom? Okay. So I'm sure a lot of you might be looking at this thinking, God, no, níl mé muíneach an Ghaeilge a bhúna sa seomáranga. But like, just say, it's all about fake till you make it, isn't it? So just say, yes, I am confident. You don't need to say, oh my God, I'm so confident, you know. So say, tá mé muíneach cinnte. Okay. But, you know, maybe just give a bit more information. Tá mé muíneach cinnte. Go háirithe, you know, especially when I have a plan, you know, go háirithe nuair atá plan agam done wrong. Okay. And you could say like, you know, orintha scríobh mamach. So kind of just say how you tackle this, I suppose. Orintha scríobh mamach, you know, na focail atá mé chun rá. I'm going to say. So I write down the words I'm going to say, or, you know, the phrases I'm going to use. So scríobh amach na focail atá mé chun rá, nó na frásaí a bheith in úsáid agam. Okay, na frásaí a bheith in úsáid agam. Agus, you know, mohíam réad an rang mar sin, nuair atá planál déanta agam. Okay, nuair atá ulbhúcháin déanta agam. Okay, tá mé muíneach. Agus nuair atá na trí phréimhse le chamachí geart. And you could just say like, orintha labhraíonn le mo chairde faoi mo rang nó mo chomhaibrithe. Agus, you know, I speak to my colleagues, they tell me, you know, if it's good, or tugann siad comhairle dom. They give me advice. Maidir leis an bplan. Yeah, so like nuair atá plan agam, tá muíneach an Ghaeilge a bhúna. Okay. Also, just if you're just tips on, I suppose, teaching Irish, and you can always get on to me about that also. Just start off small, you know, using the orders, which is the stem of the verb, you know, and then you can build on that. But so just write out your instructions for the class, you know, oscail an leabhar a sheán, okay, and just know the plural of the stem too. Osclaigí na leabhar a fáistí le a hull. Okay, so it's just getting familiar with those orders in Irish, okay? And once you do that and get into the routine of that, you can build on those to use more kind of, I suppose, elaborate instructions. Okay, so say you're confident, absolutely. What you do to help you be confident in the classroom, okay? Tá sé sin tábhachtach. Okay, ifir dóigh, tá muid nach mór ann. Cúpla nó méid eile is dócha. Conas is féidir Ghaeilge nabhar múla úsáid ibre an lei. Okay, so I feel like that's such a buzzword, isn't it? So úsáidem or buinem úsáid as. Okay, so I'm kind of using the same phrases a lot here, okay? So buinem úsáid as or úsáidem Ghaeilge nabhar múl, you know, gachmatin. Okay, mar hempla. Díomh a fáistí, chunas tá sibh, chunas tá aimsir. Okay. Is féidir leat a rá chomá úsáidem Ghaeilge nabhar múl nuair atá mé caint le múntóirí eile. Ibre an lei. Okay. Ag aimlón chomá béidir nuair atá na páistí, taobh amuigh ag imirt sports, labhraíonn leis na páistí in Gaeilge an sin, ag chur ceistena na ceistena céine, like ein scéal, an raibh deir seachtain na deas agat rudí anna siimplí, okay, and kind of encourage them to answer with the verb, okay. So tá sé tábhachtach go bhfuil na páistí ag freagart leis an ríthair, mar hempla. An raibh deir seachtain na deas agat, bhí, that's very important just to get the verb in. Bhí gur míle maith agat, okay. Also, like nuair atá muid ag dul abhaile, déanam cinnte, sláán ará leis na páistí, bíocht deire seachtainna deas agat agus frásí mar sin de. Have a lovely weekend, bíocht deire seachtainna deas agat ar a gcuibh. Okay, so úsáid an frásí I rit an lei. Okay, comála sin is féidir leatsa a rá beidir, úsáid an Ghaeilge le hábhar eile. Mar shampla mata. Okay, beidir leis na hibhreacha. Maybe the numbers and maths or something. Fair play if you do that. Or beidir sa rang curpidachas. Okay, sa rang curpidachas. Okay, so you could say imriam an cluiche sáilte tráchta leis na páistí. So nuair a deireadh like glas caithfidh siad rith, nuair a deireadh aráiste caithfidh siad dul níos muile, nuair a deireadh se dearg caithfidh siad, stop an sin. Rud éigean anna siimplí gur féidir leat a chuisteach sa lá. Beidir, you could say buine úsáid as Ghaeilgeoir na seachtainna, an beidir like cúpla rud eile, actually tá níos mó a go mar seo nuair lena muid roi as na seachtainna. So tugam dúis, I give a prize. Don duine a labhraíonn an Ghaeilge I rit na seachtainna. Okay, nuair an duine a dhéanann iarracht, don duine a dhéanann iarracht an Ghaeilge a labhairt I rit an lei leis na múntóirí eile agus leis na páistí eile. That make an effort, okay. Okay, so just ruddy siimplí I rit an lei, tuair samplí, okay, and say maybe Ghaeilgeoir na seachtainna nu rud éige mar sin. Okay, I think go bhfuil an ceist seo kind of is féidir le beidir cúpla rud ón gceist seo inis a úsáid sa ceist seo freisin. Okay, so céir na rudaí gur féidir leat a dhéanamh taobh amuit an seo mar ranga. Okay, so it's kind of like extracurricular there, as Ghaeilge, okay? Outside the classroom. What are the things you can do outside the classroom? Or how can you encourage the use of Irish and the love of Irish fud na scoile around the school? So think of the school community there. Okay. So just tá cúpla smaointe a go mansa. Okay. So we could say bí me gobar le múntóirí eile taobh amuit an seo mar ranga, bíonn cruinnithe ar siúla gcuin maidir leis an Ghaeilge sa scóil. So we have meetings in relation to Irish in school. Bí me ag labhairt as Ghaeilge lena chéile. Okay, rudí mar sin de. So tá sé tábhachtach gur teanga bheo I an Ghaeilge. Okay, agus go bhfuil sé nádúrtha an Ghaeilge a labhairt. Okay, teanga bheo nádúrtha. Natural. Okay, nádúrtha. Okay. Beidir go bhfuil ballan na Ghaeilge a gcuibh nó bailí na Ghaeilge, so an Irish wall. So tá sé tábhachtach balla Ghaeilge a chruthú to create one, or úsáideann gach duine an ballan na Ghaeilge gach seachtain nó gach mí nó rud éigean, agus cuireann siad postéir agsúla ar na bailí as Ghaeilge, etc. etc. Okay. Tá curcail córa ar siúla mo scóil is féidir leat curcail córa a dhéanamh, okay, sa scóil beidir. Well, that was the word I was looking for, the Ghaeilge na bhfuil. Okay, banachtaí, greetings. So nóir úsáidem mo bhanachtaí as Ghaeilge. So ar úsáidem banachtaí as Ghaeilge. So like slán, díaghuit, whatever, nula chona, madan wa, rudí mar sin de. So greetings. Nuair atá tú chaint leis na páistí sa hala, tá sé tábhachtach an Ghaeilge na bhfuil úsáid. You could have an Irish committee, Cuiste na Ghaeilge, okay, and caithfidh siad tionscanmh a bháin a dhéanamh gach bliain, so they need to do like one project every year or something, okay, chun an Ghaeilge sprága. A project on the signs in the school. So in general, all signs should be in Irish as well as English. So maybe you could do a project, okay, with that to encourage Irish I measc phobal na scoile. So you could say déanam tionscanmh le marrán gach bliain na chomharthaí atá timpeall na scoile. Okay, the signs na chomharthaí. Chóir go mbeadh na chomharthaí sa scoil dá theangach, bilingual. Okay. You could do comórtas alíana, okay. Póster ar cheanachil nó cultúr na hÉireann agus ruí mar sin de, Ghaeilgeoir na seachtaine mar a dúirt mé agus imeachtaí I ri ceachtain na Ghaeilge trán a gceist cócaireacht céilí agus ruí mar sin de. Okay, so tá go leor smaointí an sin, okay. And this can also be for how would you just encourage students to speak Irish? Tá sé tábhachtach, you know, go bhfuil an Ghaeilge bio timpeall na scoile freisin, and you could bring that in maybe to another question. Okay. Okay, lena muid right. Ceapan roinnt scoláirí go bhfuil an gramadach deachar ladránach. Conas is féidir é a bhúna. Okay. Okay, so on Kenshaw. So I suppose think about your theme of your lesson, you know, and kind of intertwine the grammar in that. So nuair atá mise ag múna gramadí, tá sé tábhachtach an gramadach a bhúna trí cóhaics, you know, through a context. So mar hampla, má tá mé kaint like, you know, faoi caitheamh aimsire. Seans go mbeidh mé ag úsáid an aimsir láthreach chun leirt faoi seo. Okay, so mar hampla imríam, éistem, féacham, agus rudí mar sin de, shinem. Okay, so you're bringing that into the context of caitheamh aimsire, you know, without them really realizing it, hopefully. Okay, so tá sé tábhachtach an grama a bhúna trí cóhaics, agus just tuair sampla, béidir rud a rinne tú an bliain se caite. Rinne mé an aimsir láthreach an bliain se caite, agus bhí muid a caint faoi caitheamh aimsire, agus bhí na páistí a caint faoi na caitheamh aimsirí is mathló. Also, bringing this kind of grammar piece into something else, some other topic, like, you know, you might moganá lá scoile, my usual day in school. So, or something like, you know, do she, they could read a piece like, so, mar hampla, tá scéal agam, okay, or bhí scéal agam, mar gheall gná lá scoile a bhí ag Seán. Okay, so mar hampla, do siam ag a hochta clog agus scuba mo íochta. And, you know, maybe they could like Curlina faoin aimsir láthreach, satéachs, or maybe you could have a poem talking about Moira's day or something and have the aimsir láthreach as part of the sentence structure. Okay, so just make sure it's something practical that you've done, that you can talk about what you did to make this grammar easier for them, that you used it in the context of a theme and that it was realistic and that go raibh sé réiliach and that they can use it for multiple aspects of themes and of topics. Okay. Cúpla seán an eile. Cad é an rud an gné is dúthlánaí faoin Ghaeilge. Okay, so there's a chance this, like something like this might come up, but just if they say like, you know, oh, what's the most challenging thing about Irish, you know, we kind of talked about it in that other question about do you have an interest in, you know, I'd probably just from that, you know, cap mé go raibh an gramadach an a dúthlánach nuair a bhí mé ar scoil. Okay, so I just probably talk about that bit there. So what is the most challenging aspect? But then you could talk about like how you improve that. So like capam nuair bhí mé ar scoil, you could say like cap mé go raibh an gramadach an a dheacair ar fad. Ach inis is brala mé agus tá méid déanamh rangana gramadí inis le mo bhúntóir agus úsáidim an leabhar bla bla bla. Ceannig mé leabhar nua agus tá sé go híntach agus tá méid déanamh clachtaí gramadí. Okay, just talk about how you're improving more so than, oh, this is challenging and I hate it, you know what I mean? So just bring it around to like positive vibes there. Okay. Cade do varúil, cade do thuram, your opinion, same thing. Faoi na móna a úsáidtear chun an Ghaeilge a bhúna faoi láthair. Okay, so again, we touched on a lot of this, okay? So úsáid and múntóirí. Buin an múntóirí úsáid as. Or you could say, bring it on you úsáidem or buin am úsáid as. Cluichí, sound like a broken record here. Cluichí, technoliacht, and maybe talk about like obergrúpa, oberberta, rólamert. It's just fact, like naming out stuff really, to be honest. Obergrúpa, oberberta, rólamert, úsáid an búna kainte, cluichí, caiite vespriúil, Ghaeilge an Avermúil, all those things in together there again. Okay. Agus beg sé carclór, maybe talk about the plan for your class, what was an effective lesson, rudí mar sin de. Okay, so tá galore nótaí got an sin maidir leis. Okay, the methods that are used to teach Irish. Okay, an cur chuige cumarsáide. Okay, so tá sé tábhachtach gohfuil an Ghaeilge an Avermúil an úsáid sa seomranga, gohfuil na páistí caint as Ghaeilge. Okay, gohfuil gach sais, you know, ober siúil like obergrúpa, oberberta, gohfuil rólamert siúil, go in the topicy ábhartha réalaíoch. Okay, so just think about, right, I'm going to think about 3 things again to talk about this topic. Okay, I'm going to Tommy Condiruer, I'm going to focus on Iverhain, communicative approach, Kirkuka conversaide, Iveradó, spree, clihi, Iveratri, Beidir, Larfui, Ruderinatu, like Rolamert, do side may Rolamert on Blaine Shakata, bring your own experience in, examples, buzzwords. Okay, Ruddy Marshanda. Ah, yes, the Moknilak. Okay, so just you can bring the Moknilak into other questions if you're comfortable with that too. Okay, so this kind of like the same question again, but it's just answered in the Moknilak. So a lot of them are the same. Okay, it's the very, very same. It's just like being able to tackle the question in the moment. Okay, and answering the question in the correct tense and way and Ruddy Marshanda. So, céir the dhéanfá dá méid scoláire agat le díomheas don ábhar. So, what would you do if there was a student with kind of disrespect for the subject? Okay, so the same kind of thing as what would you do if to encourage students to speak Irish? Okay, so dhéan hin, again, H sound, okay, DH and slender vowel Y sound. Okay, so dhéan hin iirecht na páistí sppraga, trí úsáid a bhaint as XYZ, Ghaeilge an Avermúil i rit an lei, mar hampla na bannachtaí agus na ceistena. Okay, agus ceistena difriúla. Dúsáid hin Ghaeilge sna hábhar eile freisin, mar hampla Curbidachas. Curbidachas. Oh my god, I have this block with the word Curbidachas. Fan second. I think I was taught it one way in school and then, yeah, AS. I knew it wasn't like that. Okay, yeah. So tá sé sin fear finish. Curhin bame air. So you could just change the end of the sentence, but maybe use the verbs. I would put emphasis on Curhin bame air Ghaeilge leabhartha trí úsáid a bhaint as comórtas mar hampla Ghaeilge na seachtaine. Okay, so that's kind of more for the páistí a sppraga. What would you do if a student had a disrespect for the subject or something? Like, I suppose, dhéan hin iireachtaí the sppraga. Yeah, le Ghaeilge an Avermúil a úsáid i rit an lei. Okay, so tá sé sin tábhachtach. Beidir, I suppose, Beidir go ndéan hin wrong, like, seans go bhfuil spéis ag an báiste Beidir san amóníocht nó sa sport. Beidir curhin níos mó béime an topic sin sa rang nor toid a kaint fao chahabhaimsere, or just like dhéanann iirecht iad a sppraga le rudaí a bhfuil simach chu ann. Okay, so Yeah, so I'd make an effort to like encourage them by putting emphasis on topics that she or he has an interest in. Obviously not like taking over the whole class, but I suppose like, you know, just trying to encourage them to speak. Like beidir sean go like divas acu den over acu si an va. So just like touch curhin níos mó questioner and dinner seo beidir or horhin I would give. Horhin beidir níos mó ibre than dinner seo or níos mó ibre or níos mó like fragrachty, maybe more responsibilities. So brahan sé and dinner. Na me go homlá cinnte chun an ar rá ach seo tasúpla míanamh. Okay. Horhin. Okay, so just the pronunciation tá sé an atá tá horhin, dhéin hin, chur hin, dúsáid hin, agus dhéin hin aríist. Okay. A couple of extra ones here. Riachtanis, so like the needs of the students, yeah. So dolin lek shin lai to tackle. So how do you tackle, you know, different abilities in the classroom? Now you guys probably know more than me, okay, on this. It's just Tomek on Kupla Sweenov Hort Div. Okay. So Tomaja kind thui Bedardini Sarangatha Nis Liga. Okay. So má tápáistí sa rang atá níos lige, you know, tá sé sin an iachar. So I have to amend my resources when needed, you know, so caithfidh mé ma achfaní a lasú nuair is gá. Okay. Don't need that. So I would give kind of activities that are more challenging to the students that are maybe a little bit stronger. Okay, so thuirhin gníomhaíochtaí atá níos dúshlánaí donna páistí níos loidre. So beidir cúpla ceis sa bhreis donna páistí sin. Agus donna páistí níos lige, no fada there. Caróin I would help. Caróin lo leis na ceistena agus curhin gníomhaíochtaí níos éasca ar fáildó. So I would make more easier activities available to them, or like focal bhreise new or extra words to do with the task. So like maybe more store focal nu rudí mar sin. Sean school níos mór ólas a gcuibh faoi seo. Yeah, tá mixmoinmh. Yeah, so just maybe amend things, maybe níos mó fragrachtaí donna páistí atá níos loidre. Ach tá sé táhachtach an Ghaeilge sppraga é a bheith spríúil. And I think that can kind of overcome a lot of things má tá an teanga spríúil. Okay. So, cúpla ceann eile and masúnú níl me cinnte an deocha sé seo aníos. But just make sure, I suppose, you know about the different assessments used yourself. I'm not going to go through them, but like assessment of learning and assessment for learning. Okay, so I suppose the main thing nor thought to ag múna rang Ghaeilge. Okay, beg to kind of ag cur ceistena ar na páistí chun an tuiscint a bheas nó a cheacáil. So you'll be kind of checking for understanding, you know, by maybe just different types of questions. Okay, so I would use questions to check the understanding of the kids. Okay, so dúsáidin ceistena chun tuiscint na báistí a cheacáil. Okay. Or mar bhúntóir beag mise ag féchant ar na páistí agus ag éisteach leis na páistí. So beag tú ag féchant, beag tú ag cur ceistena, beag tú ag éisteacht, beag tú ag ceartú botún, you know, correcting mistakes agus ruí mar sin de. Rud anna siimplí agus eibríonn sé, dhéanann scrúdú ar an bhoclór a dalam siad í written seachtainna. So a little screwdriver ar an bhoclór that they learned, you know, ach tá galore rudí eile seans like go bhfuil siad sna planan na ceachta atá gcuibh. Okay, so just féach siar ar an masúnú a dúsáid sibh. Okay, agus just leabhar faoi sin. Leabhar faoin taithí atá agat, again sampli agus taithí I gcónaí nuair tá tú ag freagart ceistena. Okay, we're nearly there. Okay, so just a few small strategies. Like this isn't going to be a Zoom interview, so just like, you know, manners, I suppose. Nor thought to sanaglev. So ógam leiscéal, you know, excuse me. Okay. You know, I didn't hear the question, or like, you know, I didn't hear the question properly, you know. Níor chuala mé an ceistí geart. Ní raibh mé ann an ceist sin na chluistáil. I wasn't able to hear the question. Ní raibh mé ann an ceist sin a chluistáil go mba leis scéal, excuse me. A good classic, would you mind asking the question again? Bhiste leat an ceist sin a chur arís le a thol? Or like, could you ask the question in a different way? Like, you know what I mean? You're only there once, so má tá tú stuck le rud a chin, just le a thol aber low. Instead of just silence, you know, tackle it, you know. Bhiste leat an ceist a chur I mbealach eile le a thol, please. Okay. Bhiste leat an ceist a chur I mbealach eile le a thol. Bhiste leat an ceist sin a chur arís le a thol. Okay. Ein tíam leat, you know, when you're just kind of there and tá siad a kaint and you just need to agree. Okay. Ein tíam leat, or ein tíam Ghaeilge go hiomlán leat. I completely agree with you. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't understand the word X. Tá bronerm ní hiigem an focal X. Okay. Then hopefully they'll say, oh, Carc galore. Is sé atá I gceiste gom ná, what I meant was, or it means Cilíonn sé XYZ, or they might say nábí bortha, bugam a dry, don't worry, we'll move on. Okay, and just move on. Okay. So yeah, sin cúpla lead tá gom. Forrásaí úsáideacha denaglah. So I was talking about like that phrase tá sé tábhachtach a lot there, and you can kind of change that up and use is féidir lom I can, or it is necessary tá sé riachtanach. Okay, or there should be, or it should be. What should, like, the topics should be, the language should be. So yeah, you'll notice kind of patterns throughout. So there's a lot of maybe helpful sentences there for you. So maybe just pause it here and have a look at the sentences. Okay, and you can bring them into your questions, definitely. Okay, it's kind of like what you would do. Okay, I use this. It is important to use this. Students should. The topics should. I will use. There should be X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you can pause that there, have a look, but I won't go through it. Okay, and just my general tips to finish off. Ledna atá a gum. Please answer with the verb. Okay, so like if they say on raibh deir seachtaina deasa did you have a nice weekend? Bhí deir seachtaina all in a gum. Okay, so it just kind of shows them that you can understand the question, and then it gives you that chance to actually think about what you're going to say and to gather your thoughts and put them together. Okay, so like, oh, an raibh tú ag obair scoil bhríde. Bhí, you're literally just doing the V. Bhí mé ag obair is scoil, then start again. Bhí mé ag obair scoil bhríde gá bhliain ó shin, agus bhí an taithí sin go hiontach ar fad bhfuil mé ansult as. Okay, so that's my top tip there. Always, second one here, always talk about your experience or give an example. Okay, so mar hampla seo, tá sé tábhachtach an Ghaeilge never múl a úsáid sa seomáranga, mar hampla, nuair a bhí mé ag obair scoil bhríde, bhain mé úsáid as mo chuid Ghaeilge never múl gach maidin. Okay. Sampla eile, I would use dúsáid hin fí seán sa seomáranga, mar hampla, tá fí seán fada an asnamh an seo. Tá fí seán ar an seinteoir TG chathair agus cúla chathair. Tá na fí seán seo anna chabhrach. Okay, so tá tú ag tuairt samplaí arís. Okay. And on rud deireanach, I said before, every kind of question and every kind of topic, okay, just think about 3 words, okay, and then you'll be able to develop your answer. Okay, so I said swiniger tríochail madidir le gach ceist mar hapla má currently ceistar mar gheall mó na múntóireachta. I'll talk about X, Y agus Z, and I'll have that order in my head of what to talk about. Okay, I'll talk about cluichí, I'll talk about caiite bheith spríúil, I'll talk about Kirkwood go Cumbersáide, and I'll talk about rólimir ní rud éige mar sinnte. Okay, so sin méid, they are my top tips. Tásúla gom gur elam sibh rud a chin anneo. Okay. Má tá aon ceist a gcuibh ná bíoch drogel ar ah teachtaí deagháilm. Okay, so mar a dúirt mé is me se orla, tá mé gobar le OQ Education. Okay. Have a look at my website actually. I didn't even put that in there. So www.oqeducation.ie. Yeah. Okay, Instagram at OQ Education. Má tá ceist a gcuibh mar dheallar aon rud a phléiméin jobh aberlum bí deagháil bhrálam labhairt libh. Okay, cinnte. Agus sin an méid tásúla am gur cairise sin libh. Okay, agus yeah. Chance gan in a webinar Ella. So if you liked it, just, you know, maybe just get in touch with me. Like, this is obviously completely free. Maybe just send me like a message on Instagram or just like a quick email to say that you found something useful in it, maybe, or just refer me on to someone else if you know anyone tackling interviews. I'm around till mid-September, but I'm heading away traveling for 3 months. Tá mé ag buzáil faoi sin, but be mar rais I mianar contour twino burrish. Okay, so I'll be back. So I have a waiting list as well for January if anyone needs any help with anything. Okay, so gur míle maithe gcuibh agus ámór sna hagalibh agus beimiide caint tásúlagam. Slán go fóil.